All right, welcome football fans. Petman Matt Marvin. Welcome to season 4 of Football Focus Weekly. And I'm telling you now, I'm shocked we made it this far. It is, it's crazy. You just think about, where we came from, when this thing started. A lot of you may not recognize, me and the Queen used to record or pre-record the show off of West Boulevard in the library. And sometimes we would have, guests come in and record with us, and they used to tell us, sometimes we get a little loud and start laughing, and the librarians would come over and say, hey, y'all got to keep it down. So we came a long way. Came a long way from that to having, this wonderful platform, and I'm so glad that so many of you join us, throughout, have joined us throughout the years in whatever format we've been in. And I've got the Queen here with me. And we'll have, the others join us later on. So I'm going to bring the Queen on real quick before we show you the new Season 4 intro. Queen, how's it feel? You've been here, for a while. And, we're on to Season 4.
It's amazing. Like you said, starting out, in a library, not really for me, even not necessarily having an idea outside of what you provided for what I was supposed to do, and just being able to, have this platform, to showcase these kids. And it's been amazing. I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing on Wednesday.
Absolutely. All right, so y'all hear the Queen in a little bit, but before we get started, let me give you a rundown of what we're talking about tonight. So tonight, the focus is on Cleveland County. As we do in the preseason, we're going to focus on a specific county or a specific group of teams every week up until week 1 of the season in mid-August. So this first one is about Cleveland County. So 4 main schools in Cleveland County. We're going to talk about all of them. Shelby, Crest, Burns, and Kings Mountain. Before y'all get on me, that ain't in no preference or order. I'm just telling you the 4 schools. Shortly we'll have on Crest head coach Jim Sosebee. After that, we're going to talk about a few topics that are kind of prevalent in high school football. In a new segment we're calling 3 and out. 3 and out is a football term. You go 3 downs and then you got a punt. So we'll have actually 4 topics because the 4th one is when you're out. So we'll talk about officials shortage, college summer camps, Hollywood 365 situation. If you're watching this show, you probably know what I'm talking about when I say that. And then I'll talk about some players that I like. I've been out and about and, seeing a lot of different players. And I'll shout out a few guys that have looked, really good that may be a little bit under the radar. Then at 8:30 we'll start with those team previews. We'll go with those schools that I mentioned, and then we'll finish with the slime. So that being said, we're gonna hit the new season 4 intro, and if I can talk, we'll be right back. This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. Had to end with a little throwback to season 1 right there, boy. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Just wanted to really kind of reflect on, a lot of the kids that have been with us throughout the off season. Jason Bass, appreciate it. We might change that up as the season goes along and we get more highlights and things like that. So that'll be something that's kind of fluid this year. But anyways, without further ado, we're going to bring on our first guest. He is the new head coach of the Crest Chargers down there in Shelby, North Carolina, in Cleveland County, our focus tonight. And I'm not going to try to mess up his last name. I'm just going to head coach, Coach Jim, so he can tell us how to say his last name. We're going to bring him on the show right now.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. You hear me okay? We're at a little restaurant down in Myrtle Beach with the football team, so if it gets too loud, I can move somewhere else. Let me know.
Oh, no, man. You sound great. Thank you for coming on. Coming on from Myrtle Beach, man. That's amazing. So, what are you guys doing in Myrtle Beach? What's going on?
We're going to be at the Coastal Carolina 7-on-7 tomorrow, so we came a day early. We'll let the fellas put their feet in the sand, not run a minute, and have a little good meal tonight, and I told them that's good. They're not paying, but I'm going to work it out of them tomorrow.
That's awesome. I tell you, I coached for 13 years, and that's the one thing I miss is that bonding, man, that experience with the guys and going on those trips and building that camaraderie, man. That's really important. So that's awesome,
yeah,
Coach.
Definitely, it's good times. Some long bus rides, man. You can either have fun with it or sleep. I think our guys have had a lot of fun. I was probably say be quiet a little minute, but that was all right.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So first of all, Coach, I got to know, what interested you in taking this Crest job, leaving, Hendersonville?
Because it is Crest. And I tell people all the time, I think Hendersonville is probably one of the top 3-4 programs in the mountains, and then I think Crest is probably one of the top 4 or 5 in the state. So you never, might not ever have the opportunity again. So if I had the chance to take it, I had to take it.
Absolutely. And, that kind of leads into my next question for sure, Coach. Crest being the program that it is, do you feel, pressure to live up to the standards that have been established over the years with Charger football?
Yeah, you're not the only person that's asked me that. My wife asked me that question. I said, I expect to win. So I don't know that you can put any more pressure on me than I already put on myself. I'm glad I'm at a place that has high expectations. I have high expectations. So hopefully it just goes hand to hand and we'll push each other to make it better.
Absolutely, man. That's well said, Coach. Let me see here. What's my next question? What will you miss most about Hendersonville? I know you said it's a top job, for sure in the area. But what will you miss the most personally?
I mean, I met the guys. Those guys. I've been there. I was there for 10 years. So some of those are little brothers to big brothers that I already coached, or cousins to guys I already coached. We had 12 all-conference guys coming back. Probably 17 starters coming back. So you miss that stuff like. I'm having to teach stuff that those guys already knew. So you miss that a little bit. But I'll tell you, guys at Crest are picking it up. I got a little faster pace than probably they were used to in practice and even in the weight room. So they're buying in and getting after it. I promise you that.
That's awesome, Coach. And you kind of alluded to it right there with the change in tempo and everything. What can we expect from you guys at Crest on offense and defense this upcoming season?
Defensive, we brought in Quentin Isom. He was the former defensive coordinator at Wren. They won the state championship a couple years ago. He's been with guys that have coached with me forever from Greenville High back in the day. So he understands our expectations, my expectations. He runs a multiple front. Really, really aggressive. That's what kind of I like to do. And I want you to believe the myth that we don't even have running plays at Crest anymore. It's all passing. But I want you to buy right into that myth.
That's funny. I tell you, that's one thing I've been hearing and, reading in some places is, you're known for throwing the football and, a lot of guys are excited. A lot of Crest fans are excited about that. But, I did my homework. You got some good running stuff in there too, Coach. You can't fool me.
The spring season, Jay Gaines led the state in rushing. Nobody ever says that, but our running back Hendersonville led the whole state in rushing. So we do like to throw it around, but I think that opens up our running game, and then I think they complement each other pretty well.
Absolutely.
That's a secret, though. Can't let that out.
Well, I won't put that out there when we cut this up. I'll keep that just for the live viewers.
Yeah, when the college coaches come in, I tell you, hey, y'all look at my board. There's not even one running play up there. Make sure when you go to the next school, you tell them that.
Absolutely. Can you share a little bit about your background with us? I know you're kind of new to the area. Where have you, kind of learned, your craft, and where have you been, in your past?
So I played at South Carolina back in the day. I'm old. Sterling Sharp and those fellows were there when I played at South Carolina. Started coaching at Riverside High School. Then moved to Burns in South Carolina. Stayed with Bobby Bentley for a while. Then to Greenville High. Ended up being the head coach of Greenville High. Great players there. We won a ton of games. From there to Hendersonville. Once again, great players. Won a bunch of games. And then luckily, I think we beat Shelby and Burns in the playoffs, so I got my name on the radar. So now I'm showed up at Crest.
Coach, you're just a professional on this, man, because you're leading me right into my next questions, man. I was going to say, you've got some experience in Cleveland County in beating, some of those teams that you mentioned. Does that give you some confidence that you kind of know this area and had success going into year one?
I've been lucky. Like I said, I've been to some good schools. At Greenville, we beat Fort Dorchester. We beat Gaffney. We beat Rock Hill. So we played some big games. Then, of course, coming in and beating Burns and Shelby, that's huge, especially for a little school like Hendersonville. So, luckily, I've been to some big games and come out on the good sides of it. We played Daniel before and beat Daniel. So, good players, man. They make me look good. So, I hope we got those good players at Crest. They'll keep making me look good.
Absolutely, man. And mentioning some of those good players, who are some players that have kind of stood out to you so far early in your tenure?
Yeah, Day Pettis is going to be a beast on offense and defense. He's done a great job. He's definitely team leader. Octavius Husky has done a great job at quarterback, picking this all new system for him. Barry Green, the receiver, Willie Green's son, man, everybody knows Willie played for the Panthers. Barry's done a really good job. Malachi Aston's done good. Brandon Mccall, man, that fella come out of nowhere. He, played corner a little bit last year, spotted receiver. He's been outstanding this summer. So those guys have been doing a great job. We had so many guys that just doing really good things. Monty it was on the offensive line. If I have a concern, it's just offensive line, just because it's new and we have spring practice and then we're going to throw right into a season. So it'll take those guys a little more to catch up. It's not like they can do 7-on-7 all the time. We can work on plays, but it's not the same when you're not going against competition.
Absolutely, Coach. We're going to do a little preview of you guys later on, and some of those guys you named are absolutely on that list. I'm going to bring on a guy who really is a genius in the area of Gaston County and Cleveland County. He works for the Gaston Gazette. His name is Joe Hughes, and he's got a question or two for you, Coach.
All right, I appreciate it.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
I'm good, man. I like to talk to people when they talk about gurus and stuff like that. That makes me feel good.
Oh, man. He's trying to boost my head up a little bit. Hey, first of all, where y'all eating at in Myrtle Beach? Because, I used to stay down there as well, so I got to find out exactly where y'all are getting some grub at.
Seafood World, seafood and steak buffet. Good
choice. Good
they're killing it too. I'm telling you, they got. I look at the Facebook later. I got pictures. They're killing it. I hope they leave some food for everybody else.
I'll definitely do that. But wanted to ask you, because since you were hired, you brought in so much energy and it's constant. It's constant motion. Where does a lot of that energy come from? And what's kind of your passion for just kind of being a leader of young men and being a good go-to for that?
Right. So I guess it goes back to when I was a player, man. I always had high energy coaches that try to keep us going. So, and we didn't have the best of stuff when I was in high school. So I try to make sure that those guys have stuff that I didn't have. Well, get to go on stuff that I didn't get to do. So I tell them all the time, be better than I was. So I try to do that because I just know that I was lucky. I got to move on and play college football, and it's just a privilege to do that. But if I can help them make that better, make them be a good citizen, work hard, make sure they do the right thing, I'll be successful.
Indeed. And saw a little of the work that y'all did yesterday. You were going up against a lot of South Carolina teams. Being able to go up against South Carolina teams, North Carolina teams, do you feel that being able to see a little bit of everything's going to help in the long run?
Oh, heck yeah. People say all the time, you don't practice to go against these teams. I'd rather go against other teams. We play teams from Missouri, Maryland, Ohio, who else? We've been Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia. We play teams from all over the place. And that's just different looks. So you don't want to play the same people all the time to get the same look. You can do that in your backyard, but if the more looks they get, the more experience they get, the more it's going to help them.
Indeed. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Joe. You are the guru. Yes, sir. Coach, man, we appreciate the time. We wish you guys the best of luck down there in Myrtle Beach. And hopefully we'll get out there and I'll be able to meet you in person and catch up with you guys real soon. And I'm excited. I've heard great things about, you throwing the ball every play. And that's what we love.
Right, man. I appreciate you guys, what you guys do for these kids.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right. That was Crest, head football coach. I'm going to call him Coach Jim because I forgot to ask him how to say his last name. But that was great. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of excitement in Cleveland County about Crest football. Last year they had a really good season. And I think, with Coach coming in, and bringing in some of those, exciting spread concepts, that's going to make things, even more fun. And I think there's a lot of success in those Chargers' future. All right, so let me get that down. And let's bring on who we got right now. We got more people coming. Now, the engine will not be here tonight. The engine is on vacation, so he's taking early PTO. I approved it. I didn't want to approve it, but I did. But so far, we got the Queen, and then we got the proclaimed Guru Joe by the chat administrator. I agree. Guru Joe, that's the name this year. We're gonna just graduate from Cowboy. We just gonna let that go. We're gonna forget that even existed.
Let's do that.
So, Joe, what have you seen from Crest so far? Have they been impressive to you?
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Of course, 7-on-7s, it's really more so learning and building chemistry more than anything else. And as Coach said, they saw 3 or 4 different teams that played 3 or 4 different types of concepts of spread. Daniel likes to bunch things up and really play a real guessing game and playing who's who. Whereas you have Gaffney, which was, hey, we know who our guys are. We're going to work to get them open. So it's a lot of just trying to figure things out, getting to a new type of new schemes, new coaching, getting used to all of that. So that's what their main thing is. And they're going a little bit of everywhere. I think they were in Tennessee a week or so ago.
Yeah.
At Coastal this weekend. So they're racking up some miles right now.
Yeah, but that's good though, especially when you've got, new coaches coming in and, trying to kind of build back up from that tough loss last year in the playoffs. In overtime, the South Point, that was you were there, right?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, when you have something like that ends your season, it's heartbreaking. And, sometimes that stuff can linger, believe it or not, even through those months. And you get back on that field and you're like, man, so it's good to kind of shake it up and then, get out and about and build, that team camaraderie for sure, man. Queen, you got any thoughts on what Coach Jim shared with us?
No, just really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do this season and how, they're going to shake things up and hopefully, be as successful as he appears to have been over his years, coaching. So I'm excited to see what they got.
Yeah, me too. I think the fact that he beat Shelby in the playoffs a couple years. Well, wasn't even a couple years in the spring season. And then he's had success against Burns because they knocked Burns out of the playoffs last year. So that speaks a ton. Especially in that area where all the teams are great. I was doing some research and the team that didn't go the furthest was Burns, and they lost in the second round of the playoffs. I don't think any other area in the state, can say that. So you see these debates about Cleveland County football and is it really that good and all that stuff. No, it speaks.
Is that good?
Yes.
Is that good?
Yes, and Joe, the crazy thing is, let me ask you something, man. Do you think the Cleveland County success has affected Gaston County football?
I don't think so. I think Gaston has other issues that need to be addressed. And some of them are obvious, some of them not so much. But it's just the fact that in Cleveland County they live, breathe, eat, sleep football, and for a lot of those kids, that's their way, And if we're looking at probably about 3 or 4 counties, you're looking at Cleveland County in North Carolina, Cherokee County in South Carolina, Spartanburg, and Greenville. Between those, the I-85 corridor is just laden with football talent, and it just doesn't stop. There's constant pipelines, and somebody's always in the mix, and they just don't stop playing football, and it's always on their mind. Even after winning a championship, you saw Shelby and Gaffney sitting there like, "Hey, what's next?"
Exactly, it's crazy.
Yeah, it never stops.
Well, speaking of Shelby, we got someone checking in long distance once again. We had Coach Jim coming from Myrtle Beach. Now we got the man himself, Big Shelby, coming from what did you say, Virginia Beach?
Yeah, I'm in Virginia Beach, man.
What you doing up there, Big Shelby?
I got AAU tournament down here, man. Got my boys down here, 7th grade team to vote.
Oh, basketball.
Yeah, basketball. I know y'all don't like basketball, man.
Who paid for your shades?
My girlfriend bought me these, man, for my birthday.
Certified lover boy.
Yeah, I'm certified. You already know, Joe.
That's my guy. Right there.
Gotta make sure home straight, man.
Well, Big Shelby, we got a couple minutes, man. How has things been going, with the Golden Lions so far?
Things been going good, man. We got a lot of young talent that we're gonna have to surprise a lot of people. I know a lot of people sleeping on our defense because we lost so many key pieces, but we had a lot of young guys that got reps throughout the year, and a lot of guys that was experienced playing on JV, playing a lot of games like that. So a lot of the guys, man, we're very pleased to be where we at right now with all the pieces we had lost. We've been having good 7-on-7s. We only lost 2 games so far. We lost to Providence Day twice, so that's about it. But our defense and offense has just been – offense hasn't missed a beat, and defense is still picking up where we left off. So
that's awesome, man. And there's no shame losing to Providence today,
Yeah, them boys, Jay and Davis, real deal. That's not the guy.
Absolutely.
That's not the guy you want to go against with some young boys out there.
Well, I'll tell you, we're gonna feature, all the Cleveland County teams here in a little bit. So I'd like for you to hang around and give you insight on, some of these players that we're gonna talk about, if you don't mind, sir.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be on here.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. Awesome. Good stuff now. All right. So let's go to a new segment. We're going to call it 3 and Out. So 3 and Out, like I said in the intro, it's a football term. That means an offensive team has gone 3 downs, and then on 4th down, they punt. So we got 4 topics we're going to talk about. Summer camps, the officials shortage. We're going to talk about Hollywood 365, and we'll talk about we'll let Big Shelby get straight there. and we're going to talk about some players that I like. So, first off, let's kick it off with college camp season. So, and I'll go solo, and I'll bring you guys back here in just a second. So, college camps. I've been to the Charlotte camp, and I've been around some other events that have been going on this summer. And the one thing I've noticed is offers are coming out from camps. It's a legitimate thing. We talked about it a lot in the off season about the importance of going to college camps and being ready when you get to college camps. And the thing that I've seen is offers are coming out for players that have shown dominance and elite physical talent. And I'll give you 3 examples of, players that I've seen, this off season. Jalen Harris got an offer from Charlotte recently, wide receiver from Hickory Ridge. Real big kid, 6'3", physically dominant player when I saw him up close. Just really, really talented kid. And I think, that's really smart on Charlotte to get that offer out there, right now. A kid that doesn't have a lot of film but has been blowing up, in camp season is Jerrell Boulder, a wide receiver from Forest Hills. And this is the thing with this. College coaches, when they see elite physical talent, they're going to put that offer out there. When they see it up close, and it's a testament, to these young men that go out and work in these off seasons, play 7-on-7. They get with the trainer. They work on their footwork. They work on their speed. And, sometimes when you show that work and you put it in front of college coaches, and you may not have a ton of film to back it up, but that projection of where you're going is of utmost importance. So, you go to these camps and you have that mindset that you are the best, and you put your best foot forward. You will get, what's coming to you. Another example, Ola Olasimbo, offensive lineman at North Mech, got 3 offers at our HBCU Carolina showcase for that same reason. When you go to one-on-ones, you show that dominance consistently. Every time you go into one-on-ones, you may not go against a player that, is of your caliber. But when you go up against the best on the best, and you show that dominance and that confidence, and what you've been working on is reflected in those reps, then you've got a chance. And, that young man is taking advantage of it, and I think his recruitment is just getting started, in my opinion. So the main thing that I want to stress, and I've been reading social media because, we've been on there a lot. Everyone's story does not move at the same speed, okay? There are people that are getting a lot of offers right now, and deservedly so. But just because you aren't getting yours, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen for you, okay? There are some guys that are going to get it right now, and then your time may come later. You got to be patient and be humble, because everything you put out there is being evaluated. Don't let all the good that you've put out there go away with one single tweet expressing your frustration. You keep that internal. If you're frustrated, you talk about it with your coaches, talk about it with your teammates. Don't put it out there on a permanent record. Everyone doesn't get a ton of offers. I know in this day and age, colleges throw offers out there like they're candy sometimes, but think about it. Everyone's race is not the same, okay? But the other key is these guys that have all these offers, they can only choose one. And when they make that decision, that's when other opportunities open up, okay? So look at your recruiting calendar, okay? When the early signing period is. When that happens, other opportunities will open up, and you got to be there and be ready to step in. And that's so important. Your resume is so important, okay? When you go to camp right now, and we're in the heat of camp season, but you go to camp right now, you got to be ready. You got to come in with a mindset that you are going to dominate that day. Everything you do is being evaluated. Whether you throw a ball and it's your job as a receiver to go get the ball if it's overthrown or whatever, hustle to go get that ball. Okay? Everything you do is being every little thing. When you come back from water break, you're hustling back to the drill. Okay? Don't walk. Do something that stands out in a positive nature. You got to be elite in something, because that's what coaches are looking for. Do something to make that coach think about, okay, wow, I'm glad this kid did this thing. Shook his hand after the camp. Took a picture with him on social media. People remember those things, okay? Show your appreciation, for when you go out and do something and these coaches say, hey, good job. Okay, I love it when I see players go on social media after camp and thank the coaches, and they tag them, and they appreciate the coaching. That goes a long way. You got to do something to stand out. So I'll give you guys a chance to talk about college camps. We got who else we got? We got producer Brandon here with us. Let's bring everybody back. What do you guys think about what's going on with college camps right now in the summer?
Well, I was just going to say, much like you said, taking all these opportunities to stand out and to, make sure that whatever you're doing is putting you in the best possible position. Because like you said, especially right now with the transfer portals and stuff like that going on, you're going to see opportunities sort of dwindle, and in order for these guys to put themselves in the best possible position, you got to do things to set yourself apart, and like you said, it's the small things, it's the hustling, it's the making sure that you are finding a way to stand out, shaking these guys' hands, stuff like that. All of that stuff is important, and it all matters, and I think doing that just creates better opportunities for these guys.
All right, well said. Anyone else got some thoughts?
I was going to add, I think just like anything else you do with sports related, you don't want to do too little, but you don't want to do too much and get burnt out. Like you hear people that just back to back camps. If you get burnt out, then eventually you're not going to be putting your best foot forward. Your numbers are going to show that and reflect that you just burnt out, and you won't impress anyone if you're burnt out and overkill. So it's good to be back to some sort of semblance of normalcy, but you don't want to get burnt out. You don't want to overdo it on the camps, because then you just hurt yourself and you're not going to stand out if you just burnt out and tired.
And that's a very good point, because one of the things that's important is no matter where you go, if you have a bad performance, people are going to remember that, okay? And then you're documenting yourself with a bad performance. So it's good to, spread it out a little bit. Give yourself time to recover after you're going 110% at all times. We got a comment here, okay. Curtis Young, I'll have to make an appearance on this show. Oh, okay.
Tell him he needs to get his hair cut first.
All right, so Curtis.
Of course.
All right, well, Curtis, from Guru Joe, get your hair cut and we'll put you on the show, all right? Oh, man. All right, so I know Big Shelby is having a little bit of technical issues, but we'll get him on when he gets settled. All right, so our next topic, I'll come right back to you guys. All right, we got a shortage of officials, and the State Association has sent out correspondence reflecting that. So the big thing is we got, several concerns about being able to have enough officials for games coming up this season. So there's a couple things that we got to look at here. From a football standpoint, because we're a football show, I think varsity games are going to be okay. I think we'll have enough for that across the board. But JV football, because it's on Thursdays typically, are we going to have enough officials to cover all the JV football games Thursday and Friday? I see Guru Joe shaking his head backstage. We're going to get his opinion here in a minute. But, could we see possibly JV games being played before varsity games to try to help, alleviate some of that, shortage that's going on? You got officials there at one site, 1 day shorter of coverage. That could be a consideration. You could see, I can see a JV game being played 10 minutes. No stopping of the clock until you get maybe the last minute of each quarter. Just a time constraint situation. I could see that being a possibility, if we don't get more officials out here. Could we see an elimination of non-conference JV games where we only play the conference JV football games? Just take away non-conference JV games. You're still getting, 6, possibly 7, JV games in a season. And then if your team makes the playoffs, you can move some of those kids up. That could be a consideration. I think some changes that need to happen. We got to start changing the culture of officials and how they're treated with fans. I wish there would be a more consistent way schools could enforce across the board unruly behavior, with, some of these fans that are out here. One thing I've seen in, some of the club sports that don't have as many fans, like soccer, for example, if there's a fan that is being unruly, that official will stop the game and he will tell the home school or whoever, maybe the away team bench, hey, that fan needs to go. He's being disrespectful, and we're not going to stand for it. We need to have more of that. We need to have that enforcement, because officials are out here, and sometimes they don't feel like they're supported, And they're doing this. They're not doing it for a lot of money, I tell you that. It's just like coaching. You don't coach for the money. You coach for, the love of kids, and officials do it because they love the game. And they may want some extra money. But they also, you don't referee and officiate and put up with all this BS for nothing, man. You got to love it, and just being real about it. So that's one thing we got to see. And I hope, they get support from the state association on that. And then can we pay officials more? I know they get paid per game, a salary, but is there a way we can give them a yearly stipend to go along with that per game pay? Raise the incentive a little bit. And maybe that'll encourage more people, to get into it because, look, gas prices are crazy. Everything is going up. We got to find a way to compensate, officials for their time and everything that they put up with. So, all right, let's go to the group and see what their thoughts on the current official shortage. Anyone got some thoughts on that? Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I think it'll probably get worse before it gets better, to be honest. It's like all things, it's multifaceted. Some of it's money, some of it's, of course, gas related, of course, and all of us are feeling the pain at the pump in some form or fashion. But it's also, I think it's mostly the banter and back and forth between officials. Some of them don't feel protected. Some of them want to do something and can't do it because of what they are dealing with, or what they have already signed up for. It's tough. It's a no-win situation, and honestly, you're seeing kind of the old guard kind of pass the baton a little bit, and then you're not seeing as many younger officials able to pick up the slack and then pass it along to that next generation that's kind of coming up. So you kind of wonder exactly where is it going to go, what's going to happen. I don't have a good feeling about it, but I hope I'm wrong.
You make a good point, man, because the officials you see now are definitely older. They're the ones that have been doing it for so long, and I don't see a ton of young officials because, I'll tell you right now, I was thinking about it today. I was like, dang on. Maybe we can help more by getting into officiating, and we and producer get out there and start officiating some games, but it ain't worth it. I saw that look on your face. It's not worth it, man. There's a lot you got to deal with. Anyone else got some thoughts on the officials? Producer. There you go.
I'm noticing, just like thinking about it, we go to a whole lot of games, and you rarely see like a official looks like they're 25 or even 30 for that matter. That's kind of interesting point, but like you said, money talks to anyone, so there's gonna have to be some sort of incentive to do it, or just make it worth their while. Because with gas at $5 plus a gallon, it's hard to motivate a coach to get in the car, work their day job, then get in the car and drive 30 miles to some game with gas being $5 a gallon. They're not gonna be too motivated to do that. So unless there's proper compensation in place. So, that fuel thing is definitely going to take a toll because, a lot of these officials are traveling some distance. So we're going to have to compensate somehow fairly.
Exactly, man. It ain't no joke. Nobody want to pay all this money and then go in and get yelled at. And like you said, most of these officials have full-time jobs. That it's been crazy. Everyone's career has been affected by all of everything that's going on with COVID and dang on inflation. I mean, it's a lot, man. And nobody wants to sit there and get yelled at. I mean, who wants to put up with that stuff, man? Queen, you got anything on this?
Sorry, I was on mute. I mean, pretty much just the same sentiment as the rest of you guys. Like you said, nobody wants to have to travel to a game and go through all of that. Knowing that gas prices are high and all that stuff, and have to deal with being yelled at and not feeling protected. So I'm with you guys. I feel like they got to do something to compensate these guys fairly, or they're going to end up losing a bunch more people.
Yeah, well said. Absolutely. We got some comments here. Chat administrator Kyle, on a serious note, would it be more feasible option to have varsity games spread out from Thursday to Saturday? Would that help alleviate schedule congestion on a single day to free up refs? I mean, my opinion is I think we got to consolidate. I mean, I think, the availability of refs, they're going to be available for Friday nights. We know that. But I'm worried about them being available on a Thursday. And then some of these guys do college games on Saturdays, so I don't know if spreading it out is the right way to go. I think condensing it and then having, a way to possibly have some of these JV games, early before, these varsity games, especially if we go to just a conference-only JV schedule when the weather's cooler. Because the concern, I think, early season is by having them, play at maybe like 5:45, for example. It's still hot, and getting out there in full pads, in August that's a tough ask, for especially JV kids. Varsity kids have been doing it for a little bit and probably in better shape, but JV kids, you gotta be a little more careful with them. But I mean, that's a good point. I think everything needs to be on the table for sure. And then also on that, ref shortage won't get better because we aren't finding ways to get younger guys. Yeah. I mean, young people. I'll tell you this. I'll just tell you. I'm with the Harding Booster Club, and I'm trying to get people that are my age to help out. It's hard because they're in the peak of their professional lives right now. Everyone's working hard and doing everything they can to support themselves. And asking people to come out and volunteer their time right now it's the roughest time that I can ever remember, from that standpoint. And if you're doing volunteer type stuff right now, you are the GOAT. Because I mean, a lot of people just don't have the time, man. People picking up second jobs, and I don't know how some people are not working, because this working shortage is crazy. It's killing people that are working, because you're doing 1.5 to 2 jobs to try to cover for the shortage that has been in place. So I definitely agree with that. Jason Bass, it's more the money in correlation to the coach-fan interaction. Yeah, same deal, man. Nope, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Kyle again, if we do JV varsity doubleheaders, would it be both played at one site? Yeah, it would be. I mean, I'm thinking about having JV games right before the varsity games. And I'll tell you this. In Charlotte, with the start time at 7 o'clock, I think that needs to be looked at if we go to something like this. Because you can't start varsity football at 7 and then try to play JV at like 5:30. I don't think, that all that needs to be adjusted if we have to do something like that. I love, 7:30 varsity starts at Joe out there where you are. And in some places, I think South Carolina, they still start at 8 o'clock in some places down there.
It depends. It really depends on time, place, school. Like I know Gaffney at points used to. I can't remember the last time they did, but it still happens.
Yeah. But to your point, Kyle, yeah, one site definitely, to try to help it out. Help those officials out too, because that helps save on gas. That's a whole day of gas that you don't have to worry about going to the opposite site, and playing there. So good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's go to the next topic. I'll come right back to you guys. All right, so we got a situation. If you're watching the show, you probably know about it, but if you don't, Daylan Hollywood Smothers, star running back that was at Chambers, moved over to West Charlotte High School here in the offseason, and now it has come out that he is not eligible currently to play football at West Charlotte, per a ruling from Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. Now, that ruling is being appealed right now by, Hollywood's parents, and they're going through that process. And I think a lawyer is involved in the process with that. One of the things that we talked about when we talked about all of the NCHSAA stuff previously in the offseason was a ruling should have a good appeal process. And I'm glad that, this ruling can be appealed and it's going through, proper channels. Now, the big question about this for me, anytime you have a ruling, and I said the same thing when Mountain Island Charter got banned from the playoffs last year, and I did not agree with that at all, as you guys know. But anytime you have a ruling like this that's so heavy-handed, I always look at, does the punishment fit the violation? Okay. A year ban is a gross misconduct thing, and then from what I understand of the situation, the violation, I don't think was gross misconduct, but that's just my opinion, and I'm independent in, this whole thing. But that's what it has to be. I think, gross misconduct situations, are just a blatant out and out violation of the rules where you have no disregard, for what the rules say. And you guys that are watching this show know what some of those gross violations may be. But I don't think, in my opinion, this rises to that level. So I'm hoping because of that, there's some type of compromise and middle ground that can be reached in the situation. The ultimate thing in this is the kid. Hollywood is a great kid. He came on our show. If you guys watch the off-season shows, he came on our show and explained why he transferred to West Charlotte. He's a great, well-spoken young man, and he's got offers from some of the top schools in the United States. I mean, Oklahoma, Alabama, just to name a couple. And at the end of the day, that's what the focus should be. The talent of the kid, his senior year, one more chance to go out there and play, football before he moves on to doing great things on the college level. All right. We got some great comments. We're going to get to those in just a second, but we'll let the panel weigh in first. All right. You guys got comments on, Hollywood 365 situation?
I mean, for me, my biggest thing is, how is this going to affect him? Is this going to affect him, his college career? I don't necessarily understand. I don't know a lot about the situation, but I do know that he was attempting to, I guess, make a better situation or, make the best out of a situation. Did the schools, did they know about before he transferred? Is that the reason why he transferred? Like, there's so many questions for me that I want to know for why with a year ban anyway. If somebody can shed some light on that for me.
Well, I can tell you, not being on the inside of the situation, obviously, none of us are.
Right.
But, if you go back and listen to, his reasoning, he wanted to come back, to his neighborhood. He's, a West Charlotte kid, and he felt like, he really wanted to come back, to his roots. Those are his words that he shared on this show. And there was a lot of young kids that look up to him in the neighborhood. You know, if you follow Hollywood on social media, you know, one of the things he says is neighborhood hero. So, you know, that I think that reasoning is you know, sound, you know, for this, you know, situation. All right. Anyone else got some thoughts? Okay, let's go to comments. Let's see here. Big Cardis 17. And one of the things that have been on social media is this hashtag free3. Of course, Hollywood wears number 3. It's a shame this young man is being penalized. He is a high character young man, AB student, and does it the right way. I agree. I agree that he's, you know, definitely high character. He's definitely intelligent. You know, if he didn't have all those traits, you know, all those top schools wouldn't, you know, have that interest in him for sure. Let's see here. Let's go back on the referees real quick. Karen Belk, one of the most dedicated watchers of the show. Thank you, Karen. My brother-in-law officiated Georgia high school football for 25 years. We'll have to ask him what kept him going. His day job was with Russell. Played at East Tennessee State University, coached high school football in Georgia before Rydell. Yeah, I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I have, you know, a couple buddies that, you know, referee and officiate. And I'll tell you right now, most of it is fans, but I'll tell you, there are some coaches. There are some coaches that, you know, can push the button a little bit. And, you know, they tell me, you know, I'm officiating this game tonight and this is my coach and I'm on the sideline and, you know, I gotta get ready. So I think, you know, that can help too. Is definitely some of that regulation with, you know, coaches as well. Okay, we're gonna finish it up right here with some players I like, so I'll go solo. And this is gonna be about some players that I've been seeing, you know, over the summer. Let's get to my list here. All right, so some of these have been, you know, things that I've seen up close in person, and some of these are just observations that I've seen throughout highlight film that's been posted on social media. And I'll tell you this, man, you players out there, if you got someone that's filming you at these college camps, you know, put that film out there, man. You make a play, put it out there. Everything is being evaluated. We talked about this when we did HBCU Carolina Showcase, especially for HBCUs, because they can't get out, you know, to all of these events that are going on because of limited recruiting budgets. So they admitted they use social media as a big tool for their recruiting. So you make a play, you look good in a one-on-one rep, tag those schools, man. Tag those coaches. You know, you get tagged, you see it. They get tagged, they see it too. So don't be afraid to put those reps out there, man. That helps you out a lot. Quarterback Brady Hibbert of Forest Hills. He moved from Providence in the offseason. Really great physical, talented kid. Strong arm, great presence in the pocket. You know, Forest Hills is a team to watch, man. They are slowly making a name for themselves down in Union County. And Coach Deese and those guys, they've got some talent. And they're, you know, flying under the radar. You think about Union County, you think about Weddington, you think about Porter Ridge. But Forest Hills is trying to come up there and become a team that you have to start worrying about, you know, on your schedules, you know, for the upcoming season. We talked about Gaston County briefly earlier. Their time is coming, but I got to shout out running back Carmelo Best. He's been a favorite of mine for a while. All the kid does is work, man. He works so hard. And, you know, his talent is really, really strong. I'm thinking he's going to have a special year coming up for a school that, you know, I think there's nothing but opportunity in Gaston County. And, you know, Ashbrook, I think, has a chance to, you know, seize a little bit of that spotlight that's out here. Wide receiver Avery McFadden at Hillcrest. Shout out to Hillcrest. Hillcrest in South Carolina won the Charlotte 7-on-7 tournament up at the 49ers college, Charlotte 49ers today. And he's got a really good quarterback in Mr. Bennett. But Avery McFadden, I saw him at the camp on Saturday, and that's going to come out in an article here in the next couple days. But really, really fast kid, electric with the ball in his hands. He's running away from people in one-on-ones. I love seeing him up close, along with going back and watching his film as well. Dynamic threat, at the receiver position down in South Carolina. Defensive lineman Odera Orizu at Charlotte Christian stood out to me. He was also at the Charlotte camp this past Saturday. Great size. What I loved about him, two things actually. Great get off first step, playing a defensive end spot, and then his hand usage. Playing defensive end, he's a kind of a taller kid. Working against offensive tackles, first step and then hands, you always want to, kind of work your get off and hands and set up your moves. And, he does a great job with that. I saw a couple of different set up and moves and one-on-ones, and he was impressive. Shout out that kid. And then finally, linebacker Harrison Johnson at Porter Ridge. I saw him at the camp Saturday as well up at UNC Charlotte. Great physical talent. That's what I love about him. They did an agility circuit, which is really important. You guys that go to these college camps, be ready for those agility drills. Colleges want to see how you move, in different directions and things of that nature. And this kid, man, he's going to be big time down there in Union County. Great physical, size 6'1", 6'2", sideline to sideline linebacker. Just love how he looks overall. All right, so let's bring the crew back. Are there any kids in particular? I know Joe might have seen some. Are there any kids in particular you've seen, in the summer that have kind of stood out to you so far?
Yeah, I think Coach Sosebee actually brought up one earlier tonight in Vari Green. The kid, he's gonna take a real step forward in his wide receiver progression. He already looks like he's the go-to guy for Taylor Husky, but he's starting to really look the part as far as a wide receiver. He just is very gifted. He already has the speed. He already has the know-how. This really has a chance to be a big year, especially with the type of offense that Crest is going to employ this year.
Yeah, I looked at some highlights of that kid, man. Yeah, definitely impressive. I think I got him on the list. We're going to talk Crest here in a little bit. But I know Big Shelby, if you're watching, we're about to get ready to talk about your team, sir. So we'll see if he comes back. But now it's that time. It's this Cleveland County night. So we're going to talk about the 4 teams in Cleveland County. So we're going to put up a little PowerPoint show. And we're going to start with our first team, which is, we're going to start with the state champs out of respect. This Shelby well, I got to open it first. Good gracious. Week 1, man. Week 1. There we go. All right.
Big Shelby put down his crab legs.
All right. Oh, there he is. Okay, we'll add him in now.
You got 2.
What you talking about, Eli?
All right. Man, what you got going on over there?
I told you I'm at the beat, man, with my folks, man. I'm out here to talk about the champs, and I'm getting up off here.
All right, well, go ahead. Give me some thoughts on these guys that are right here on the screen.
Well, first and foremost, QB1, Daylan Lee, best quarterback in the state, in my opinion. His recruitment has been picking up, but it still ain't where it should be. But yeah, I feel real confident going into the season with a real poised and solid leader that we have, man. That's going to be good for us. Isaiah Bridges, rising junior wide receiver. Arguably the best receiver in the state, pound for pound. He's only about 5'9", 160, 170, but can run by anybody and make any catch in any traffic. TJ Griffin, he was a great DB for us last year at safety position. 6'2", tall, long, and rangy. Does a lot of good things for us. He can come down in the box and play if we need to, or he can play safety. Freshman, Big Scotland Dover, he's only going to be playing offensive line right now, but he's been doing real good with summer workouts. He's in very good shape and can run to be that size. He's about 6'2", 6'3", about 280, 290. He can really move. The Jakeem Hamilton, who just picked up an offer today from Gardner Webb, is one of the best jump ball receivers I've seen. He can run any route on the route tree. And, all those guys right there is going to be a big part of what we do. A couple names I can give you to look out for that people don't know about that's going to be stepping into starting roles this season will be our linebacker, Nick Norris. He's going to be a sophomore, very good guy, learns the defense, gets everybody lined up, let them know where everybody's supposed to be. Wide receiver, Eli Falls. He was injured last year. Eli's about 6'2", 6'3", tall and can run. He's going to be ready to step right in and replace a guy that we lost last year. Then also another receiver / safety is Marlon Daniels. He's about 6'3". He's going to be playing one of the receiver spots. So we got a lot of guys that people don't know about that's going to make big strides. And I can't wait for the season to get started because of a lot of those new faces. People think we fell off, but it's a lot of new faces we're going to have. Then also our starting running backs come back, Bryson Key. Then his backup and our starting corner will be Tristan Tate. So we got a lot of great young talent that's in this 10th and 11th grade class that's going to really make a lot of splashes and a lot of surprises for people.
All right. Big Shelby, before you go, we're a little concerned. We heard some beeping. Chat administrator, somebody's house on fire.
Nah, where I'm at is like a trash truck coming to pick up the trash, man. Somebody's coming to pick up the trash.
I thought a beeper was going off somebody committing a robbery.
Nah, man. No. Well, Joe, you know how Newport News is, man. I'm down here in Virginia Beach, so you ain't no telling you got to lock your car 3 or 4 times down here.
Shoot, 3 or 4 times, that thing opened back up.
One last message, Big Shelby, from Jimmy Davis. It says, Little Kings Mountain coming for you early, Shelby. I learned from Joe. I'm very social media trained now, so we're not going to entertain anything that has nothing to do with positivity. And I'm just making sure, and I'll just make sure my boys will be ready. We're taking it one day at a time. We're just trying to get better down here at Shelby, man. We ain't feeding into the negativity no more. Well, I see that you've elevated. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. But I do appreciate you guys giving my guys a lot of coverage. A lot of my guys picking up offers and interest because of the best CFI camp that was put on in the whole state of North Carolina. A lot of people have been saying the camps, they've been sending their kids too. It's just been a money grab. And all my guys that came to your camp feel like they got a lot of interest and offers. Matter of fact, 3 of them got offers. TJ, Isaiah, and Keith all got offers from the CFI camp. So I know our coaching staff and our head coach ain't really a social media guy, but he is very appreciative of what you guys do.
Yeah, I love to talk with Coach Will Banks, man. I'll have to do it after a game. I know he, like you said, he's not big on social media.
Nah, he's not a big social media guy, man. He's not a big rah-rah guy, but, he's stepping out and doing different things right now. So I'm sure it'd be easy to get in touch with him and get an interview. Yeah,
I saw by the way, I enjoyed watching the Friday Nights in Carolina thing with you guys, man. That was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, man. We got that together with our guy, Mitch.
Yeah.
He going to be following us around this year. Hopefully he can get, Joe on camera doing some interviews so every episode of Word can meet Joe Hughes, So, we got that going on the Shelby, man. We're just trying to maintain the standard, man. That's all. That's all it is, man. Everybody, a lot of people doubting us. But, we're just going to keep on trucking and doing what we got to do, man.
Nobody's doubting y'all, man. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that with Crest either. Nobody doubts y'all guys, man.
I know one thing I will say about Crest is different now from when Shelby made the transition to the spread. It's a lot easier now because there's so much film out there. When we made the transition to the spread from my 9th and 10th grade year, we started out horrible. Because you got guys that was used to blocking and linemen used to, they never blocked downfield. So I think Crest going to be just fine transitioning because they always have good size and good speed. So, I think Crest will be fine. But people, Joe, you'll be surprised, man. People doubt us so much, man. I think people think Shelby just revolves around 1 or 2 people every year, man. But, we got a lot of guys that take a lot of that stuff personal. So, we got a lot of people that's coming out to prove a point this year.
All right. Well, Big Shelby, we'll let you go, man. Appreciate you checking in from Virginia Beach. Be safe, man, and good luck to your basketball boys.
I appreciate it, man. I hope y'all guys have a good night, and once again, big Shelby.
See you, man.
See you.
All right, so that was Big Shelby checking in, giving us that good insight on the Shelby Golden Lions. Joe, you got anything else you want to add on the Golden Lions there?
Yeah, the combination of Daylan and Isaiah Flash Bridges, they're going to be electric this year, along with Jakeith, who, as he said, you throw the ball up, he's 9 times out of 10 he's going to catch it, and some of that comes from his basketball skills too. He has a nice 3-point shot on the basketball court, so he's definitely the real deal. And I expect big things as usual from them. Just like it's just one of those places where you don't reshuffle or restock, you reload, and they do that with the best of them, and they've shown it for the past decade plus, and even further beyond that. They're a dynasty for a reason, and a lot of that just has to deal with the constant pool of talent and tradition and just pedigree that is around there.
Absolutely. And we saw a lot of people jump on when we were talking about Shelby. Now we're winding it down and some of those numbers come down. So thank you, Shelby fans, for your support. We definitely appreciate it. All right, let's move on. Burns Bulldogs, led by our buddy, Coach Devine, one of the best coaches around. Their key players, wide receiver L.J. Allen has blown up. My goodness. Every time I turn around, he's getting another offer, man. I just love his physicality. I've been watching his highlights. Just a physically dominant player on the outside that has, speed to go get the deep ball. And then I love his jump ball ability in 50-50 situations. Kahari Haynes, he's been to our camps, a couple of our camps, just picked up an offer from Norfolk State. Just a great physical, talented player, kind of an outside backer, plays well in space. I think that he's a guy that's, and like I was talking about earlier, as people commit and people, colleges start looking for the next person, Kahari should be at the top of that list for sure. I think he's a little under-recruited right now. DB Lamont Wilson, another physical talent, has been to 2 of our camps, came to our March tune-up camp, and was at the showcase. Really, really great ball skills. I love his speed on the outside as well. The young quarterback, not so young anymore. He's getting older. Ben Monty. I know Coach Devine loves, his game. As he continues to grow in that offense, I think more is going to be put on him coming up this season. And then Ryan Thompson at receiver. Just another threat. I mean, you think about Ryan Thompson and L.J. Allen on the outside. I mean, good gracious. Burns, they got, I feel like sometimes people forget about them, but year after year, they're always in the mix. Joe, what do you want to add about these guys?
Yeah, very impressive guys, and they're talented. They're mighty talented, but it's going to come down to, can they block the quarterback? Can they protect their quarterback? Ben Mooney has he's uber talented. He hit 5 home runs in baseball, hit 427 as well. But he has to have time to get the ball to guys like Ryan Thompson and L.J. Allen. In the games that they lost, that was kind of the biggest problem for them. Against Shelby, he didn't have the time that he wanted to. He hit maybe 2 or 3 big passes, but he didn't really have the time that he wanted to survey the field and get the ball to the right person. But you have guys like L.J. Allen, he told me last year, he's like, hey, I'm under recruited, man. Somebody needs to
not anymore.
Exactly. I said, just give it time. You're talented people tend to show their talent through time. So he's really doing that. And Kahari's been that guy. There were times last year where their defense was looking at a bad situation, and he came up with a big play, whether it be a swatted ball, blocked punt, blocked kick, something like that. He has a knack for the big play, and he'll have to do a lot more of that this year.
Absolutely, well said. All right, let's move on to the next team here. That is the Crest Chargers, and Coach Jim, we talked to earlier. If you're just now joining us, you can go back and watch that on the playback. I love the comment. Michael Kennedy, Coach, Cleveland County is must-see football. I love it. Hey, man, that's why we starting season 4 with Cleveland County, man. We could have started with Charlotte. Charlotte's our home, but hey, we starting with Cleveland County, man. We start with Cleveland County. All right, key players. And Coach Jim talked about a lot of these guys. He plays all over, and Coach talked about him. Devonye Pettis, really good size defensive lineman, or I'll say defensive player, because I think he can play, probably some at linebacker too. We talked about the receiver Green, Javarius Green. I think DB Brandon Weber. I watched some tape on him. He looks like he's going to be a player. And then, of course, the quarterback. I think, what'd you call him? Tater? Is that his nickname?
Yeah, Tater Husky. Yeah,
I like that, man. Where's that come from?
His name is Octavius, so they just shortened his name up a little bit.
Well, where you get Tater?
We're country folk, man. We gonna come up with something. We gonna come. We got taters, we got rats, we got whatever. If it's living and breathing, or if it's something you can pick from out in your garden, we gonna name it that, man. It is what it is.
I can call him potato, man. Tater. I get what you're coming from. Don't listen. I get it. I understand.
No, trust me. I know. As a coach, you just come up with names, crazy names, nicknames for players, and and I'll tell you, as a coach, sometimes you do that because you can't remember what their name is, so you just start calling them a nickname, and it just makes it easier for everybody. Mm-hmm. But all that being said, the kid is a heck of a player. I got to get an interview with him, man. I'd love to know the story behind that. And then linebacker Desmond Porter came to HBCU Carolina Showcase, and I thought he showed well. Joe, did I miss anybody for Crest there?
No, you can probably add Malachi Addison to that. He's going to be the other wideout on the other side. AJ Adams is going to see some time at both wideout and at cornerback as well. He was seeing some time there yesterday. Made a good play, and of course he's brother Mari Adams. They play basketball. The kid he looks like he can't really jump because of his height. Put him in a jump ball situation like he'll probably have against a guy like Jakeith Hamilton and Shelby, and we'll see exactly what he has, what wares he has.
Absolutely. And he was, I was trying to keep it to 5. And I'll tell you this, guys. I know there's some names that you may not see. I was trying to keep it to only 5, for each team because, we got limited time. But there were easily, I could have added many more names, for all of these teams. I mean, there's so much talent, out here in Cleveland County for sure. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. Kings Mountain Mountaineers, led by longtime head coach. I can say that now, right? Longtime head coach?
Yeah.
Okay. Long-time head coach Greg Lloyd. They're key players, in my opinion. Big offensive lineman Isaiah Eskridge. He's been picking up offers. And I watched some tape on him. Man, I'll tell you. I love seeing big physical offensive linemen. And he's a mountain man. How about that? Yeah. Defensive lineman A.J. Richardson. He can also play some linebacker. I tell you, he got in late to the HBCU Carolina Showcase and ended up being top 5 on the defensive line. Just a dynamic player that has made plays for them over the past couple years. Quarterback Lamont Littlejohn. It feels like he's been there for a while. But he's coming into his own. I saw him last year. I saw him one. Was it a VTO camp? I saw him, and I loved his progression. From where he was when I first started watching him on film to where he became. Last season. Just looking at his highlights. And I put athlete Robert Kendrick, but I think he's more of a running back, right, Joe?
Yeah.
I love his film, man. Good gracious, he's gonna be a player. And then wide receiver Bryson Brown. I think it's going to be another guy, that helps out on the offensive side, for these guys. Joe, what you got on them?
This team is going to be really good defensively, which is no surprise really, because I talked to Coach Kennedy about this maybe a few days ago. I said y'all actually overachieved a little bit last year with all the injuries that y'all had. Y'all were basically piecemealing, putting guys places that they had never played before, basically applying duct tape, trying to fill leaks, and somehow they win 2 playoff games. And actually they were probably the only team that had Dudley on the ropes last year in the playoffs. I think they were tied at 7 through halftime. So with that in mind, and exactly what their identity is, they're going to be physical. They're going to play discipline. They're going to surprise some people. And honestly, it's going to come down to, in the Big South, them and Crest. Unless there's some surprise or somebody just comes out of the woodwork, it's going to be them 2 teams. And which also is going to put the onus a little bit on Lamont Littlejohn to continue his progression at quarterback. He made some strides in that playoff game because they were down. They were about to lose to Franklin and needed 97 yards, and he took them down the field in about 2 minutes to get that winning score. So I'm just eager to see exactly how much they have grown from those tough times last year, because I really feel that they're in for a big year. And it's their 100th season as well at Kings Mountain. So they're wanting to do something special. And I'm not saying that they are, I'm not saying that they aren't, but they're primed. I will say that.
Yeah, that's well said, Joe. Now, just kind of summarizing it, because that's the last team we're going to do here. So Shelby last year won the state championship, obviously. Crest lost in the 4th round to South Point in overtime in the playoffs. Burns lost to Hendersonville in the 2nd round, and then, as we just talked about, Kings Mountain losing to Dudley in the 3rd round. But I remember me and producer, I think we were at Shelby in the 3rd round when they played East Gaston. And I remember they announced that score with Kings Mountain and Dudley tied at 7 at halftime, and the whole crowd went, ooh.
Right. I remember that too.
So, that, like you said, Joe, I think that's a heck of a job, on their part, last season, for getting as far as they did with all that coming back. All right. So that being said, that's going to end the team previews. But moving forward, when we do the other counties, we may not have time to hit every team, but what we'll do is we'll kind of condense it a little bit, and we'll kind of run through some of the top players. We'll try to have at least 1 or 2 players from each team, and we may just break it out on a couple different slides. So we only had 4 teams in Cleveland County, so we had time to talk about everybody. So just make sure going forward when you watch the other shows, especially when we get to Charlotte, we got 20-something schools to do. We won't have time to do every single school, but we'll try to recognize as many players and programs as we can.
Plus, you're going to have an extended episode.
No, we're not doing that again. Y'all remember the IMEC episode we did, I think it was 2 years ago? Yeah. And that thing was like 3 hours.
We ended it like 10 or something like that.
It was like 10:30.
Yeah.
We can't do that anymore. We can't do that anymore. All right, now it's that time. Let's go to the best of the comments. And we've got some pretty good comments here. Let's see. Speaking of the county previews, don't forget Iredale plays football too. Man, I'm gonna have to work Iredale County in, man. I'll tell you right now, they're not on the preview yet, but I'll talk about Iredale County football. Okay, Kyle, I promise you. What? I will
if
get
you do that, you're gonna have to get Lincoln in too.
See, that's how it starts. That's how it starts, man. See,
that's exactly who they're playing.
Might as well throw Rowan in there while you're at it.
I tell you, when we talked about it with the Queen City Senior Bowl, this is exactly what we talked about. We said, okay, we expanded a little bit. And now every neighboring county that we've expanded to has asked, why can't we get in it? Why can't we get in it? So, yeah. At some point, it's got to be a stopping point from the level of focus that we like to do here. Because it's football focus week. We got to focus. You can't focus going statewide. You got to focus. Focus.
Okay.
All right. Kyle, love watching games at Kings Mountain. Incredible atmosphere. Never forget going to the Mooresville at Kings Mountain 3A playoff years ago. Triple overtime, 15 degrees. Good gracious. Joe, you remember that?
No. No.
I'll tell you, the coldest one we were at produced it was that Charlotte Catholic game when they hosted Dudley.
Yeah, about
It was about 8 degrees out there.
I remember that. Can never forget that one.
Because I tell you, we were illegally streaming in the first half, and we had over 120 people. It was too cold out there. It was too cold, man. Oh gosh. Let's see. M Tuck wants us to go 3. If I'll tell you, man, that was the show that never ended. I swear to God, man, it was crazy. It was crazy. We can't do that anymore. You know, gas price is too high. We can't do it.
Blame it on the gas.
Right, drive to the studio. Huh?
That's a different type of gas, man.
Oh gosh! If you missed it, we got a new name for Joe. Hashtag Guru Joe. That's the new name for season 4. Thank you, chat administrator. Appreciate that. Let's see what else we got here. I think we got most of the comments in already. Coach Kennedy, thank you. Appreciate it. If you missed the intro, we'll play the intro when we go out tonight. I thought it was pretty cool. We kind of did a compilation of highlights from the camps along with putting in the logos of the Charlotte schools because those are the schools that we frequent the most. But we love, our metro areas. So we'll play that when we end the show tonight if you missed it. But that's the season 4 intro. It's about the kids, man. We're all about the kids in season 4 and going forward.
Well, luckily, you just agreed to go into Iredell and Lincoln County. Everyone heard it.
Well, if I'm going, you're coming too.
I'm already there, so.
Whatever, man.
Oh gosh.
We go where we wanted. How about that?
That's right. And now, I will tell you this. Now we start going outside the coverage area. We're gonna have to start charging some surcharges on this gas. Now we start going
like the surcharge. If they're that shows how much they really want you. Get an email with a digital gas card in there. Hey.
We're not above being paid for coverage. We're not above that. Just so y'all know, we're not above it. All right, we got anything else in here? Tommy. Oh gosh. Hey, what's football they play in Iredell County?
This guy.
Oh, Tommy. Good gracious. Well, Kyle, this is a good one, too. We can also take payments in wings. We've done that before. I told y'all the story a couple years ago when we got fed in wings after the game advanced.
Yep.
And was it a coincidence they got more coverage?
Nope.
Maybe. I'm not going to say, but wings do help. So
It wasn't just that that you got wings. It was the fact the wings were good.
Oh,
They
yeah.
got to be good wings. They got to be
Exactly.
good wings. You can't just give us any type of wings and expect,
Now-
no.
Now, I'm going to tell you something right now, though. All wings are good. With these wing prices, if people giving you wings, they really like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are like a commodity now.
We got another one from Markeith Surratt here. The Crest Chargers will be back this year. Well, I mean, they were there last year.
I get what he's saying though. The swagger is
Okay.
back. The swagger's back. They've been there, but one point that I didn't bring up really was the fact that even though that they were playing well and getting wins, they never felt like they were like that. They felt like they were maybe a decision here, a coach there, a this and that. They really feel that they have what they need now.
Okay.
That's where a lot of that is coming from.
Okay. Yep, and he agrees with you, the swagger. So okay, all right, I can respect that for sure. I'm excited to see him. Crest is one of the few schools I don't think we've been to yet, producer. I don't think we've been to Crest.
I can't think of going there. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Shelby Crest game is that stable this year?
Is that on our list? We've done a list. I haven't released it yet, but I think we're going. Isn't it week 3?
I think you got it on there.
It is.
I don't think
it is.
Let me see here.
Because I think Crest is at Burns week 2. So I think it's week 3 or week 4. It's one of them two. I think it's September 2nd.
I think so. Yeah, I got it in my notes, but
Where
I can't.
is at Crest?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got it in my notes somewhere, but I think we're gonna be there. Me and producer are gonna be there.
I remember saying I need to leave Charlotte like 4:00. Get Jack, find somewhere to park, and find traffic, and find a parking spot. I remember that. So yeah.
Either that or take the back road through Clover. You don't want to do that.
4:00.
Clover.
Traffic is hell.
I've went that way before because 485 got backed up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it wasn't much of a shortcut.
No,
I'll tell you that.
The Clover bottleneck.
Jeez. Let's see. Melissa Armstrong, Kings Mountain is going to be a force. Backs up what you said there, Joe. Absolutely. Let's see. Kings, once again, August 19th, we open against Shelby. Come on out. Well, Queen?
I'll be there.
Sure.
So Joe and Queen might be there, Melissa. We'll see. We'll see what. Oh, it's at Shelby. I'm sorry, at Shelby. Well, we've been to Shelby before. We know how to get there. Kings Mountain got a nice stadium though, right?
With zero cell service. None.
Zero, what you mean?
Zero cellular service. You get
cellular.
I love going out there, but man, I feel like if I actually had to make a call out, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't survive.
Come on, Kings Mountain, get us a cell tower, man. Put one up on top of the press box or something. Help us out.
Yeah, the funniest thing is during the spring season they had good cellular service for about a good 3 or 4 games. Then once the playoffs hit, that thing went gone. I was slightly offended.
Well, you got 2 people that agree with you.
Nobody.
They want you to focus on the game at Kings Mountain. No updates, just focus on the game. Enjoy the experience. There you go.
The ambiance.
All right, well, we're going to do it anyway, even though our host is not here. It is now that time to slime, and I guess I'll have to host slime time tonight. So, all right, let me go solo. It's slime time, baby. All right, let's go with let's start with Guru Joe. Guru Joe, who you gonna slime tonight?
All right, been actually thinking about this a little bit the past couple of days since I got that text message saying, "Hey, we about to get this thing back started." But yeah, the biggest thing is let's all try to be nicer to each other, man. A lot of people going through some tough times. A lot of people trying to figure out exactly where the next meal is going to come from, where the jobs, whether they're going to have a job tomorrow. What's this? What's that? So many questions. So much this, so much that. Be nice to each other, man. All of us are going through something. We all trying to figure it out the best way we can, and sometimes the best way to do it is just with a smile on your face. You're not always going to disagree or agree with everybody. You're not always going to disagree with them, but being kind, that's non-negotiable. Let's do better.
Man, that's well said. That's something we've talked about, in several occasions at my real job is, it's all about empathy and understanding, especially with what I do, full time. I'm a security director full time, and dealing with people right now. You bring up a good point, Joe. A lot of people have dealt with a lot of stuff, man. There's been a lot of loss with COVID, inflation, bills. Times are tough. People that are working, harder than they've ever been. So I totally agree, man. All right, Queen, Who you sliming tonight?
So as you guys know, Father's Day just passed, and you also know that I work at an Asian restaurant. So I'm going to slime all of the Father's Day and Mother's Day crowds that we get. Um, I can't seem to quite understand why every table that comes in there thinks that they're the only table that's in there, and it's really starting to get annoying a little bit. So I'm going to slime you guys because it's like whenever we have Father's Day or Mother's Day, it's like people forget about the fact that we're still human. We're still only, three, possibly four servers trying to take care of an entire restaurant. We had no understanding. And it's really starting to grate, especially on me. Already dealing with a lot of things health wise, and then having to turn around and deal with some buttholes who know how to be patient at all. It's really annoying. It goes to what Guru Joe was just saying. Like, we just need to be kinder to each other. I think a lot of the things that kind of tick me off is the fact that even though we are servers, we are still humans as well. And you don't know what our day has been like. You don't know what we're going through. All y'all know is y'all need to be served, and you need to be served now. And then when it comes to Mother's Day and Father's Day, it gets even worse because these mothers and fathers feel like it's about them and nobody else. And it's one of those things that have just grated on me. And so you guys get the slime.
I don't blame you. I mean, working in the service industry is probably the toughest it's ever been, just because you feel that crunch of not having, the support, from you know, especially in the Queen's case, a waitress, perspective. And it's hard, man. I saw a story that there's an IHOP. I think it's down off of Johnston Road in Ballantyne area. The IHOP was open with one person running the restaurant, the whole restaurant, and he was doing, sit-in orders and takeout orders and cooking the food. I mean, it was incredible to see one person doing all that, man. So anyone, working in the service industry, have some compassion, man. Like the Queen said, you don't know what people are going through. It's been really tough. It's been really tough. And when I go out, I try to tip well because I know, they're going through it. And there's a lot on them for sure. All right, producer Brandon, who you sliming tonight?
I think I'm going to slime Mr. Kenny Atkinson for basically, agreeing to become the Hornets coach and then deciding that he'd rather stay an assistant. Now, I get it. It probably makes sense to him, but at the end of the day, it's just like you're declining to make your own legacy. You'd rather just ride behind Steve Kerr. I don't know. I get it. The Warriors, they're at their peak right now, so I'm sure it makes sense to him. But it just seems like he's declining the chance to make a name for himself. Maybe I don't know. I don't quite get it, but I'm sliming him because it's like he agreed and then backed out. So that's slime worthy in my eyes. So goodbye.
You stole my slime. he definitely was gonna get it from me, because that you don't do stuff like that, man. After you gone through three interviews, and then all of a sudden you realize you didn't want to move your family. Really? Are y'all talking to each other out there? I mean, what's really going on? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Yeah, Kyle Adden right here. Yeah, he did have a chance with the Nets, and he wasn't my first choice. I'm still team Mike D'Antoni, but hopefully, maybe it is a blessing in disguise. So we'll see. But my slime is going to be Hornets related as well, but I'm gonna shift gears. My slime is on, and I'm gonna be careful here because I like these guys, but can't we just do something? That's my slime. We got all this stuff going on. There's been all these rumors going on about Gordon Hayward being traded. Are we going to get Miles Turner, which has been rumored for like 3 years? Are we going to re-sign Miles Bridges? I mean, everything feels like a mess. The whole Kenny Atkinson thing we just talked about. Can we do something? We need some positive stuff going on in this city, man. And it kind of echoes what I heard on the radio today. It's been a hard time for us fans in Charlotte. It's been a hard time. The Panthers ain't been good in a while. The Hornets, you know, we get to the play-in 2 years in a row and get blown out. Kyle saying Charlotte FC is the best sports team in their first season. And I don't really like soccer. The one time I watched the Carolina Hurricanes Game 7 in the playoffs, they get blown out. Everybody's talking about they gonna be the team. At least the Tar Heels made it to the championship game, man. Good gracious. That was fun. Charlotte Knights ain't good. It's rough, man. Did the Checkers do anything? Did the Checkers win in the playoffs? I don't think so because we would have heard it. We would have heard something, I think. But
I forgot they were still around.
It's a rough time, man. It's a rough time, man. Good gracious. Oh, my gosh. Oh, and Guru Joe in backstage talking about Russell Westbrook. I'm going to tell you, man. I'm sure that'll be the move we make. Bring in $47 million Russell Westbrook.
Of course it will.
God.
It'll be a
For
name.
what?
It'll be
For
a name.
what?
It'll be a name. And that's
Yeah.
really all it's ever going to be.
To put butts in seats.
Mercy.
I wouldn't even say put butts in the seats.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
They need better security, honestly. You got kids able to go to the parking garage and ask Michael Jordan for
I
an
saw
autograph.
that. Yeah. I'm like,
They
dang,
didn't learn from Chameleonaire, buddy.
dude, I mean, whoever the security is down there might be in some trouble. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I know enough about security to you got to protect the governor of the team, man.
Yeah. They said we're looking for Melo. Nah, you got the boss coming out.
And then they'll settle for MJ, I guess. Derek Miller, are the Knights ever good? Man, I think they won a championship, 1995?
Wow.
Oh, gosh. I don't
Triple
think
A.
so, man.
Triple A.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever good. We still got Ric Flair.
Not for long.
I saw he's wrestling at 73. What is that about?
Wrestlers think they can wrestle until they croak,
Lord.
man.
Oh,
I'm a big wrestling guy, but I wish he'd stop.
Me too.
He needs to ride off because a lot of wrestlers die young, so he needs to consider himself lucky.
Boy.
That dude
Yes.
a cat. That dude's a cat. This dude was in an airplane crash and he ended up living. Yeah, he's a cat.
Gracious. Yeah. So real quick before we end the show, y'all saw that stuff with Vince McMahon and all that.
Yeah.
Is the WWE gonna be done or what?
No.
Okay. I think Stephanie took over like the CEO duties for now, so no,
Oh.
it won't be done.
But he's been on at least. I think he was on SmackDown last week. He was on Raw this past week. Said nothing, just to try to soak in some adoration and get some.
I
fake
saw that.
sympathy.
Yeah.
And,
It was a big deal. It was a big deal. He was gonna come out there, and I watched it. And I was like, he said like 2 words, and then he left.
Yeah,
Like what the
just
word?
just groveled real quick. It sounded like a rock being crumpled up. Welcome to SmackDown.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna have to settle for AEW, like Nikisha said.
That's not a bad option.
I haven't watched it, but I hear good. I hear it's good though. I never watched it yet though, but I heard it's all right.
Well, Kyle saying, last comment, we still have our truth.
Oh, wow.
Our truth.
Harden.
Former Harding legend.
Yes.
Harding legend. Yes. Our truth, if you're watching, you can send donations to the Harding Booster Club, HUHSBoosterClub.org. Appreciate your support, our truth. Let's go. All right. And that wasn't the final comment, so final comment goes to M. Tuck. No.
No.
All right.
With emphasis.
Everybody, thanks for watching Cleveland County Show Season 4 premiere of Football Focus Weekly. We'll go out showing you the new open for Season 4. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week, 7:30 p.m. Wednesday night.